Hello guys, what's up and welcome to yet another interesting sewing tutorial episode. So this video is a continuation of the tutorial video I made on how to draft a simple waistcoat. But guess what? I actually altered this outfit. I made it a blazer jacket because I'm not really a fan of waistcoat. So what I simply did was to attach sleeve to my waistcoat, and this is what the final look is. Very classy and beautiful. I really love this outfit. In case you're meeting me for the first time, you are welcome. It's your girl Apparel. Kindly hit the subscribe button and let's get started. So guys, this is the fabric which I cut out using the pattern paper which was drafted in our last sewing tutorial video. So I will be connecting that video to this video so you could see it as well. So first we're going to be working on the back fabric for our waistcoat. So I'm simply removing the pattern paper from the fabric right now, and then I'll also go ahead to separate the lining from the actual fabric. Okay, so we'll be setting the lining aside first. So I have here the center back fabric and also the side back fabric. So the side back is in two pieces while the center back is a single piece that was in a fold. So ensure to place the side properly. Okay, so I'll go ahead now to hold the one side together, both the center back and the side back, as you see me do right now. So I'll be holding it together using my pin. So take note of the portion I'm indicating with my finger. That's what I'm going to be holding with my pins, and I'm doing this by giving an allowance of 0.5 inches, which is going to be our seam allowance. Okay, so remember that allowance that was given while cutting our fabric, the allowance that was left extra, the allowance that was given that was beyond the size of the pattern paper. Okay, so that's the allowance I'm holding in place now, which is our seam allowance. I hope you understand. I'm just trying to explain that portion there. Okay, so this is what I have after holding it together. So I'll go ahead to the sewing machine now to stitch around that portion which I held. Okay, so this also I repeated for the lining piece for the back. So now I have here the fabric for the front of our jacket. So I have the center front and the side fronts. So the center front is in two separate pieces, while the side front is also in two separate pieces. So I'll repeat the same process which I did for the back. As you see me indicate with my fingers, I'll go ahead now to stitch by 0.5 inches, and I'll also be doing the same for the lining piece. Okay, so after stitching, I have here my back fabric and also the lining piece for the back fabric, and I also have the front fabric and the lining piece for the front fabric. So it's already looking beautiful. So you can also see that I also iron flat that seam allowance there. I did it for both the lining piece and the actual fabric so that it will be flattened and looking neat when it is worn. Okay, so what I'm simply doing now is that I am placing the front side of my lining piece on the back side of our lining piece, the right sides facing each other. So I'll also be doing the same for the actual fabric, placing the back fabric on top of the front fabric, the right sides facing each other. And first I'll be stitching on the shoulders and also on the side, as you see me indicate with my fingers. Okay, so the back lining piece is joined to the front lining piece, while the actual fabric is joined together the same way it is done for the lining piece. So this is what we have after I was done joining the fabric together. You can see it looking very neat. So I also went ahead to iron flat my seams, the new seams which was done on the shoulder and on the side. Okay, so I have my lining piece having the same shape with that of the actual fabric. So this same pattern is used for sewing a suit, a jacket, a waistcoat. So this is how a suit pattern is sewn. So what I'm going to be doing now is placing the lining piece on top of the actual fabric, the right sides facing each other. And so I am simply holding in place the neckline area by half an inch, okay, using my pins. So I'll be doing this all around on the sides, on the border area, as you see me do right now. Now, if this were supposed to be a waistcoat, which I was supposed to make, I will be doing the same thing, holding it together around the armhole area, the sleeve portion, the armpit area as well. So, like I mentioned, I converted it to a blazer jacket by attaching a sleeve. So I'll go ahead to the sewing machine now to run my stitches around the portion I am indicating with my fingers. And after I was done, this is what we have. So I'm going to be flipping it over to the right side, as you see me do right now. So I flipped it over from the armhole area, the armpits. Okay, so I would be opening it up and ensure that there is no place puffed or not properly flipped over. And after flipping it, I'll go ahead to iron it flat. So this is what we have after ironing my jacket. You can see it looking like a waistcoat, a jacket already. So assuming, like I mentioned, if it were a waistcoat, this armhole area would have been folded inside and sewn the same way I did stitch the other side. And I'll be opening that place I'm indicating with my fingers right now to flip it to the right side. Okay, so next I'm going to be drafting the pattern for our sleeve. And the length of this fabric, which I'm going to be using for our sleeve pattern, is 33 inches, while the width is 10 inches. Okay, so I'll go ahead now to fold it in two. Remember that this fabric is two separate pieces, which I'm folding in two again, making it 4 times that it is being folded. And the measurement I'm going to be taking now will determine the curve area. So I'm taking a length of 9 inches. So I made a point there. And from that point is where I'm going to be curving my sleeve like I usually do. So to ensure that it is properly curved, I'm using my curve rule now. For the drafting of a basic sleeve, you flip the curve over to one side and then you flip it over to the opposite side. That's what I just did right now to give it this shape which you are seeing. Okay, so using my straight rule, this is what I do for a basic sleeve. But for this particular sleeve pattern, you can see the way I've positioned it right now. So this is how I'm going to draft the pattern for this sleeve, as you can see. So please take note of that, simple instruction I just give there. And it is 15 inches wide after using my straight rule for this sleeve pattern. So I'll go ahead now to cut it out, as you see me do. And then I'll be opening it up, and for the border area I'm simply going to be folding it twice, and I'll be stitching on the sewing machine on that portion I just indicated with my finger. So next I'm going to be attaching our sleeve fabric now on the armhole area. So first I folded it in two again so as to make notch at the middle area. So this will help me identify the middle area and placing it the right side facing each other. You can see how I'm placing it right now. What I simply did was that I made gathers around that shoulder area there. So please ensure to do that because this fabric was wide enough. And this is what we have after I was done attaching my sleeve fabric to my jacket. So I'll go ahead now to be closing the sleeve on that portion there. And after I was done, this is what the final look is. So you can see it's a wide sleeve. It is a short bell sleeve, not really a bell sleeve because it has gathers on the shoulder area, but it is a wide sleeve. So to finish up my blazer jacket, or you could also call it a waistcoat design slash pattern, I will be attaching my tiny belt at the back of this dress. So the portion I'm indicating there is the dart area. That's where I'm going to be attaching this belt. And the last and final thing to do will be to attach my press button at the front. So guys, if at this point you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Kindly hit the subscribe button and I will be seeing you on the next tutorial video.